The law of assumption. What does it mean, and how can you assume that something is done in order to manifest it? Stay tuned and find out. So what does that mean, to assume that it is done? It means to be the person that already has what he or she desires. And that can be really tricky when you've been living your life with a lie. All of your thoughts and your beliefs and things that are telling you that you're not worthy. All of your thoughts and beliefs that are coming from a state of being of lack is all a lie. And so when you face that state of being head on, that you're realizing that everything is flowing through you and onto your screen of reality, and everything that you assume to be true about the world, about yourself, and about how people show up for you, including money. It is based on a program. Usually your subconscious mind is programmed from the time that you're 0 to 9 years old. And so sometimes it's programmed from circumstances that you can't even remember. And so what I'm doing here on this channel is I'm trying to give you little bits of information and things that I have done for my own self and what I do for my clients in the hypnotherapy and coaching sessions, is to assume that what you want is already done. Assume that so that you no longer have that feeling of thirst. Assume that it's already done so that you no longer are feeling the lack of it. Okay, that's the point of this whole channel, is to help you get into the state of being where you no longer feel like you don't have what you want. Because let me tell you, I know that the feeling of lack and the feeling of not being worthy to have what you want, or the feeling of hopelessness, anxiety, fear and doubt, it can be crippling. I mean, for me it was. And then using the law of attraction techniques to try to get what you want, which only brought me more anxiety because they weren't working, because I would do things and then I would look out in the reality and try to see, like, did it work? Even the law of assumption techniques, in my opinion, humbly, they should not be attempted until you have mastered getting yourself into the present moment, finding gratitude for all that you have, taking personal responsibility for everything in the way that it's showing up in your life, until those things have been paved. Oh, and the number one most important thing, I almost forgot, how could I forget? Because it's already within me, maybe I don't have to think about it as much, is the ever-present, never-dying self-love. That is the basis and the foundation of everything that you create. If you don't love yourself, if you don't like yourself, how in the heck do you think your specific person is going to show up and love you? How is that person going to come in and love you if you don't love yourself? How are they going to give you something that you don't already have? How is money going to come in and flood into your life if you are not loving yourself? Because money is a form of love too, right? It can be. So everything that we have within us is projecting out into our field of reality. And so if you aren't full of love and liking yourself and loving yourself, and you're projecting onto your reality that you aren't really loved, that you are not worth it. So that's, in my opinion, where the work starts. Self-inquiry, asking yourself these questions. Why do I think this thought? What is this thought? Where does this thought come from? What is this stemming from? Why do I feel like this? Why do I feel anxious? Why do I feel? And just asking those questions, making a list. What is it that I believe about my specific person? I believe that he or she doesn't love me. I believe he or she doesn't show up for me. I believe that I have to try to prove that I am worthy. I have to try to be someone that will, I have to be someone that they'll like. I have to try to get their attention. Or how about with money? It's hard to get, like, just make these lists out. Don't be afraid to go down into the deep depths, darkness of your mind and ask these questions and determine, where does this come from? Why am I thinking like this? That's because I have a belief, which comes from a state of being, that I am not worthy. How do I find the state of being? How do I access the state of being where self-worth naturally bubbles up, where knowing and confidence naturally bubbles up, Well, the law of assumption. Assume that about yourself. Be here right now and assume that you already are that. Because here's the thing, what I'm finding with my clients is that they already are that. I already see you as perfect and whole and complete and already made exactly the way that you were meant to be made in order to have your dreams come true. But what happened along the way was you picked up a few extra things that don't belong. You picked up some extra hairdo and earrings and these little accessories and things. Like, you could just imagine it, like, I'm just going to take this accessory off now. I'm going to take this thing off now. And what's left is you. What's left is the state of being that you're desiring. But it's when we have these mental thought processes and we're trying to do and we're trying to get it done and we're trying to da-da-da-da-da. And I'm telling you that you just need to sit back and receive who you naturally are already. And in order to do that, you have to start loving yourself. You have to sit and do the hard thing, which is sit and challenge your thoughts. Yeah, but no, not today. Yeah, well, my circumstances are like this, though. Nothing's changed. Well, that's because you still don't know that it's already done. That's because you still are searching outside of you. Where is it? Right here is where it is. Every time you are going to get that reflected back to you, that if you are trying to find something out there to make you feel good, you're going to get the lesson that this is the only thing that's going to bring that feeling of love, that feeling of contentment, that feeling of wealth, that feeling of ease and grace and flow. It all comes from within you. And nobody can make you get there but you. So yeah, listen to meditations. Yeah, do your imaginations. But don't give that as a reason to yourself to then go looking around. How do you assume that it's already done? You just gotta know. You just have to trust. Trust. Have you ever trusted? You know, a lot of us, we grew up with families that it was not easy to trust. We didn't have anybody to trust. Caregivers were, doing their best. And we grew up not able to trust that life is going to be here for us if we just let it flow with love, with awareness. Life is here for you, not doing something mean to you. And when you get into that flow, now you're going down the stream. Now you're going with the river. You're not fighting uphill. When you're trying to do these techniques, you're trying to shove a boulder up a mountain. That's not it. The energy of creation is flowing through you always, right now. Every thought you have is a representation of a state of being that is within you. And I'm going to tell you that those thoughts, they happen less and less and less until suddenly one day you wake up and you realize that you haven't had those thoughts. How do you get there? Well, you have to challenge them, first of all. You have to send love to your heart. You have to steadily flow the love that you're seeking back into yourself. The love that you're trying to pour out onto that person. You're trying to get them to see. Get yourself to see how loved you are. Get yourself to see how worthy and loving you are. Get yourself to the point where you don't need anything else in order to feel loved, abundant, content. Okay. Contact me below if you'd like to get started with hypnotherapy or coaching. Okay. Emails in the link below, as well as my website for more information about my services. You got this. Law of assumption. Just assume that it's done. You just got to do the work to get there. That's the inner work. And then you start to have imaginations. They just naturally arise. Things that come from that state of being naturally arise. You start to imagine what your life is going to be like with abundance. It starts to come naturally. You don't have to force it. starts to bubble up from you. You start to feel your lover's arms wrapped around you because you're already feeling that state of being. You're already feeling totally in love. And what symbols do you imagine when you're totally in love? Your lover embracing you. You feel totally worthy and wealthy. What do you feel? What would you experience if you were just feeling that wealth? Oh gosh, bubbles up. Oh gosh, I'd get to go on vacation to XYZ, and I would do this and that, and I would give money to a charity. I would buy my friends, dinner every month, or something. I don't know, like just those things will come naturally. You don't have to force it. Okay? Love you so much. Mwah. See you next time.